Welcome to the Indie KidLit podcast. Join Marty Dumas and Elena Page on their quest to help children's and middle grade authors find the right audience and sell more books.
Hi, and welcome to the Indie KidLit podcast. I'm Marty Dumas.
And I'm Elena Page. And welcome back for our final show. I was going to say 2019. Gosh, I'm already in the future, but no.
That's wonderful. We love that you're already in the future. You're always in the future. It's good.
Know. Come back. Still 2018. We are recording this in 2018, and this is our final episode for the year. And it's the episode, it's not as long as the others. We are talking about our goals for 2019 and encouraging you, listener, to go and write your goals. We're sticking to 3 each today. We think, 3 is a good amount because last year I think I had 15, 20 or something stupid.
Yeah, I was like, oh, these are my marketing goals, but I've got separately writing. It was a lot.
It was a lot. And then I didn't succeed on a lot of them. I think you hit most of yours though, didn't you, mate?
I mean, I hit some of them. Some of them it was a surprise that I had hit them. So then I don't think that's a good thing. I think you're meant to be intentional about all of your things. So then, I think we're probably about in the same boat.
Awesome. So do you want to hit off first? Tell us about your, God, I forgot the year now. See, I was going to say 219. Gosh, where am I today? 2019 goals. What are you going to achieve?
Okay. So, are we going back and forth? How are we doing this?
No.
One-on-one?
Yeah, go all of them.
Okay, all 3. So, in 2019, my number one goal is to recreate my writer's space. And that is not a physical space because I like to bounce around between places. I have some well-loved places that I like to write. But what I had early in the year and sort of lost was the emotional permission to spend the time on my writing and to keep it very much forward. I've had a lot of family obligations this year. We've had a pretty tumultuous 12 months as a family. And so then I've not prioritized any of those things. But then in doing that, I've lost some of myself and some of my own joy. And so then the number one goal for me is to recreate my writing space, the space for me to write without guilt and with joy inside of that space. So that's the number one goal. The number 2 goal for me is that I hone my not quite YA voice. And I suspect that I will do that by working through the rest of I'm going to call them the fairy books, but I shouldn't shorthand them, the fairy books, to people who don't know more about the story, because it's probably not what it sounds like. But I'll probably do that by working through the fairy books and others. I've got a couple of other I do little shorthand outlines of a story when I'm getting mentally ready to write them. So they're not what you would call an outline, but it's where I just kind of say, I know who the main character is. And so then I say who the main character is, and I know what their problem is. And when I also know how it gets resolved in the end, then I'm okay, now I can start to write a story. So I've got a couple of those that have have all those pieces. So I will, either work on the fairy books or a couple of those, and really trying to hone my not quite YA voice, which I actually think is missing in the field. I think that that's a thing that the big publishers are not paying attention to. That is a need that parents are directly and specifically articulating to me. And so then I'm yeah, no, I hear ya, and I'm gonna try to be better at that. And
expand
then
on that a little bit. So what is that voice that you're talking about?
Yeah, so it's, I think, what a lot of people think of as the dead zone where they're like, okay, if your character's like 14, 13 or 14, like somewhere in there, then that's not old enough for the big kids, not too old for the little kids. I disagree in a lot of ways, and so then and also it's not what parents are saying to me. So then I would like to write in that space a little bit more, and I think that that's an opportunity for me as a person who is like very much in control of what they can put out there. Like our press can do a lot of things, and so then that's an opportunity to do a thing that doesn't need to be ticked off, like doesn't need to tick off all the boxes for big publishers, because it's not going to go there. So then that's fine. And then the last thing, because we're just doing our writing goals, right? Okay. So then the last of my writing goals for this year is to maintain my relationships with other writers, and to grow some new relationships with other writers. And I mean like writerly relationships. So the kinds of relationships where you're trading rough manuscripts, trading unfinished chunks of things with each other. The ones that I have right now, I've had for a while now, and it's, I think, probably time for me to inject some new voice into that. But also, I very much value the people that I've been talking to, and so like I want to keep that, but I want to pull some new voice in, and I probably would want. So oddly, the people who are in my writers group, none of them write children's books. And I find their perspective so interesting. I find their perspective so interesting and refreshing. But I think that I will want to have one other person who's writing for the age group in that circle, that early circle of people that comes before kids and parents and teachers and such. So that's my 3.
Awesome.
Nebulous and unachievable as always.
Do you want to give us just one marketing goal, then go on? Just one.
Right. Okay. Now we're adding? Okay.
Yeah. You know me. I never stick to the goals or the rules.
Right. So in 2018, I had the goal of putting up a dedicated page about school visits on my website. And I'm going to give you 2, because if we're going there, then we're going there now. But and I have made all the materials for that. And something, we were talking about this before we went on air, there's something that is stopping me from putting it up. And I don't 100% know what it is. My best guess about it is that I don't want to put up the cost of it. I think it could be like scary and off-putting for some people. But it's funny because like I'm willing to do so many things for nothing, right? Like, okay, it's for nothing. Oftentimes, like when I do get paid from school visits with me telling the school not to pay me, and they pay me anyway. It's like so bizarre. I don't even understand I don't understand myself or the universe in that space. But I think that I don't want to put that out there on the website, but then also I don't want to mess it up for other people. Like, I don't want other people to feel like they shouldn't be getting paid for their, like, it's like, your time is valuable, people. Like, you should definitely be getting paid. So I don't want to put up a thing that doesn't have that valuation on it, because I feel like that's like putting the wrong kind of energy out into the market. Like, that's going to devalue other people. And I definitely don't want to do that. So I need to get over whatever the thing is and put that up. I like literally have all the materials. I just haven't done it. So maybe I'll get maybe I'll get somebody else to do it for me.
And they might add an extra 0 or something just to
exactly. You're like, what? Okay, that's cool. And then a thing that I have surprisingly enjoyed, I'm going to, from 2018, that I thought that I would really hate, in 2018, I said, I'm like, for people who are like I'm reading my goals off of paper. So I'm like looking down and not looking up at the camera. In 2018, I'd said that I wanted to make connections with more bookstore owners. And I thought in my mind at that time that I was going to be doing it in the way that's super uncomfortable for me. I thought that I was going to be like making myself like do a thing that I hate to do so that I would, I don't know, break the ice on the thing or something. I thought I was going to be emailing people cold and, stalking them on the internet cold and, making random cold calls to places. And I didn't do any of that, but I did go to bookstores because I'm a person who goes to bookstores and talk with people. And sometimes they happen to have one of my books on the shelves, which makes that's a great entree for conversation. Yeah. But sometimes not, but just like talking to people, like people is a great thing. And at like conferences and stuff as well, same deal. And it happened that just like through talking with people and like making connections this year that I have in fact hit that goal. But that's the one that I was talking about where I was like, I realized in retrospect that I accidentally hit that goal. Like I carried around all year that I wasn't doing the thing that I said that I was going to be doing. So then I think that I would like to continue doing exactly what I ended up doing this year, not trying to make it be in a way that feels uncomfortable to me. Maybe leaning into my actual personality and my actual like of talking to people
right
in person, as opposed to trying to make myself something that I'm not. So weird. It's as if all the after school specials and Disney movies were correct, that I should be myself.
Love
all right.
it.
So what about
awesome.
you?
Yeah, they're great. Well done. I'm sure you're going to knock them all out of the ballpark. You really will do them. And you do usually complete your goals. So that's fantastic. Mine. Okay, so my first one of my goals in 2018, more the later half of 2018, I didn't even know this was one of my goals, but it sort of came to my attention, was to improve my communication. And initially, that means improving how I sound and speak and come across and all that sort of thing. But what I discovered was that as I learned more about playing, so in verbal communication, some of the things is obviously you might probably already know these things, but some of the things
nothing.
Right. Okay. In case you don't, and the thing is, we do all know them. Like it's not anything that surprises you, but we don't necessarily practice them. The things that we work on in communication is, let's see if I remember them: tone, pitch, volume, rate, and no filler or non-words. The ums, the ahs, the so, the and, which I'm sure you still hear me say an awful lot of. See how I just whispered? I'm playing with my communication. and so I'm in a Facebook group where we have to do bi-weekly challenges, live Facebook challenges, and we've got to play with all these things. And it's been amazing. What I noticed is it's really translated into my writing, where all of a sudden I'm like, oh, maybe I could play with tone and pitch and rate and no filler words in my writing. So that's one of the things that I want to do more of in 2019, play with communication skills in my actual writing and, of course, verbally, so that I can eventually do a school visit, because I didn't do one last year, like I said, or this year. See, I'm already in 2019, I tell you.
In the future.
I'm already saying last year. Right. I want to make sure that I finally do a school visit, and I think communications is what's going to get me there. So that's my first goal. My second goal is, again, you're going to laugh because you're like, wow, she thinks she's coming up with these amazing things that everybody already knows, but they are to me. The next one is I want to really stretch my imagination. I was sitting there one day and I thought, oh my gosh, the secret to being a good writer is imagination. And I feel like that's the key, in fact, that even if I don't have New York Times best-selling sentences or fantastic prose, that if I can really stretch my imagination and push myself. And one of the things I did this year, which I didn't expect to do, I'm always going on online that I hate first person present tense books. And so I made myself write one. And it was like actually so much fun. It was so much fun. And my imagination really got to stretch. And I thought, where else could I stretch it? So in 2019, I really want to stretch my imagination, force my brain to reach for things it wouldn't normally do. Go Disney Pixar. That's what I want to do with my brain. So that's my second goal. And then my third goal is, after interviewing, I've got to mention her name on air at least once an episode from now on.
Yeah. We know who's coming.
You know who's coming. But after interviewing Jessica Brody, yes, there it is, I went and got her productivity course, and it made me more productive straight away, like the next day. And I'm finally, like you've always been very consistent, I'm finally starting to get some consistent words down, which is life-changing. I can't tell you what a difference it makes. I was still getting my words out, but in bursts and stressful moments and all that sort of thing. So next year, I want to push my word count, really impress myself, really write more books than I've ever written before. I'm aiming for 10 books next year.
You are amazing. That's really good.
I'm gonna do, now they won't all be novels. Some of them will be like shorter chapter books or some new picture books I'm planning, but I want at least 10. And I know I can do it because I'm getting a little bit more consistent. So yeah, they're my 3 goals for my writing. And then I don't think I have one for marketing. Isn't that terrible? Get better at ads.
How did you throw me under the bus about marketing and then you didn't even have any marketing goals?
Because you've got marketing goals. You're like the marketing guru.
Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. We've met some now, which I'm so excited to have had the opportunity to do so many episodes of the show, because when we were first talking in the beginning, we were like being like that. We were on a quest to find people who were doing that. And I was like, I promise you that I am not doing the best at this. Like, I promise you that, like, if we are like using me as a bar, then we are setting a low bar. And turns out I was right, because
right.
We've gotten to talk with a lot of people who's like, who are really setting the bar. And that's cool. Like, that's cool. And it's inspiring. And yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I guess mine is going back to the like school visits. Come on, I really want to do that. And I want to get even better at the ads. I feel that ads are the key, and we've been talking to a few people who have transformed their career with the Amazon ads in particular. Since the paperbacks moved from CreateSpace to KDP, my book sales have quadrupled, which is...
Are you advertising them?
Because of advertising.
Yeah.
And I think that I could do, but, you know, even book series that I thought, oh no, I took it out of KDP, you know, out of Kindle Select. It's so dead now on Amazon. And nope, those ads, since it went into KDP, have completely revived sales like it's a brand new book out all over again. And what I love about it most, even if a book's only got like 4 reviews, it still sells. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Awesome. That's awesome. And it makes sense too, because like the thing that's most prominent on the sales pages for Amazon is like the strength of the star, right? It's like, how many stars is it, and not like the little number that's behind it. And even then, it's kind of like, I think you could probably still do some with no reviews and still get some sales that way. I do because like our press has a book. It's not one of mine, but a book like from another author in our press. We didn't know the audience for it yet. Like, we didn't already have, because it's like for kids that are a little bit older, like maybe 12 and 13. And we had sort of built an audience of people who were looking for kids that are maybe like between 5 and 9, you know? So then we didn't really have that. So then we didn't try to like shove it down the throats of the people that we're already talking to. We just kind of put some AMS ads on it. And totally sold with no reviews forever, right? Like
Wow.
it didn't have reviews forever, and it's just starting to get reviews on it now, and it's
Huh.
been out like a year. So
Wow.
so yeah, I think that it can totally work with books with no reviews on it. Just maybe
That's
be patient.
crazy good. Hey, that's really, really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I am also redoing the covers for my first ever series next year, which
The
I'm
lolly ones, or which
the lolly
are we
ones.
not
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, the
Oh,
lolly ones.
I like Lolly's covers. You can redo them, but I like them.
I know, but they're, like I look at them now and the rainbow's nauseating. Like there's just too much rainbow.
You don't love Lisa Frank? Like, do you remember Lisa Frank?
It's funny how you can see something and think it's so good, and then in the it's been maybe 2 years since I put that series out, and the sales have really revived a lot of late. And I thought, you know what, I don't care. I'm just going to put, sink $1,000 into it and redo those covers, because there's essentially 8 books, which is a lot of covers.
It
It's
is a
probably
lot of
more than
covers, and it's cool
yeah.
that you're able to do it that for like $1,000. That's a lot of covers. So
I think that's US dollars. Now I've got to add the exchange rate problem, which is killing me. That whole add an extra grand for the for the exchange rate.
oh yeah, that'll
Breathe
be a
through
pretty stinker.
and give my money away with joy, and it returns to me
With
multiplied.
joy. And then you'll have covers that you can cycle through, because if you don't, like if they don't do what you think that they'll do, then you can always cycle back to your original ones, and then in another year cycle back to the new ones. Like you've got stuff to switch between now, which is a great investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd love you to share your goals. You can do it where can they do it, Marty?
You can do it in the comments anywhere, but I think most often people email us with them. So you can do it in the comments anywhere that you see this, post it. You can do it on the website in the comment section. You can do it in the comment section on YouTube if that's where you listen, or in any of the various Facebook groups that Elena so diligently posts each episode in. You can definitely do them there as well, and tag us if you do, so that we can be sure to see it. Sometimes those posts get hidden a little bit if you're not super, super active in the group. So there's that bit, but you can also email us at theindiekidlitpodcast@gmail.com, and we are happy to be your goals buddies.
Perfect. Now, this is normally it is our last show of the year, and we normally take January off because I'm in Australia, and I'm selfish because I go on holiday.
That's not selfish at all. Oh my gosh.
we don't normally take July off when you go on holidays. So yes, it's completely selfish. But anyways, I'm good with that. So that's what we normally do. But I had a chat with Marty before we went on air that I need a little bit of an extended break. So it's completely my fault if you're going to start throwing insults at the podcast.
We're not doing a thing where we have a scapegoat. It's not a thing that we're doing.
It's me you should hate, says the drama queen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm having way too much fun with my communication skills, if you can't tell. And so I need a break, a bit of a longer break. So at this point, we're probably taking at least 6 months off from the podcast, and then we're reviewing what we're doing after that. Unless, of course, I'm struck by a lightning bolt and wake up one morning and say, what have I done? Or that you all send me flowers, chocolates.
She just wants you to send her flowers, guys. You gotta send her flowers.
You can send them to Marty as well. In fact,
no, don't send them to me.
Most of you are in the US and should send them to her.
You can send her virtual ones. That'll be good too.
But we are taking a break. It has been 2 years of the podcast. We have loved doing it. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, we're taking a break. That's what we're doing. And hopefully we will be back in the second half of 2019, unless, as I said earlier, we've both bought yachts and we're sailing somewhere and drinking champagne because we've hit it rich, and then you may not ever see us again. We shall see what happens with our destinies. But thank you, as always, for being loyal listeners and tuning in to the show. We really do appreciate it. You say something now, Marty. I have hogged the airways.
No, I think that was good. You were speaking for both of us, so that's always good. I think that Elena was being funny about like flowers, but truly, like, we have done this as a labor of love for ourselves and for you guys. And so then if it's useful for you guys, you should definitely let us know. If you feel like these 49 episodes have pretty much covered you and you got it from here, then you can let us know that too, because we are here to be useful for ourselves and for other people. So then if we've done enough and like this has kind of run its course, then that's okay. Like, that's how things happen sometimes. But if you're like, oh no, I still need to hear about this and I still need to hear about that, then you should let us know that too. Is that correctly speaking for both of us, do you think?
That is, I have this thing. I say something the way I say it, and then Marty says it the way she says it, and it sounds amazing. And I love that. I love that you take my
You are
scattered
hilarious.
and bring them together. I'm going to hire her for my editor one day. She finally agrees.
You're so funny.
It's true. It's true. You do that so well. I was going to say something, but as I'm, again, true to my nature, I forgot. I always forget what I'm going to say at the very end of the show. In fact, it wouldn't be. Oh, there it is. Came back. This is actually our 50th show. So we did make it to number 50, people. We did it. Tick. There you go.
50 episodes of the Indie KidLit podcast. So that'll tide you over for a while if you're just joining us. Here, you've got like at least 4 days worth of solid listening in there. That's like more than 48 hours worth of listening. You know, like I'm assuming you're not listening straight through the night. So if you're putting in a nice solid 12-hour day, you've got 4 days of listening there. So we hope that it's useful for you, and you should, you know, keep in touch with us, and we'll check back in with you guys a little bit later in the year.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.